What's going on, everybody? It's Carmine from Barmine Tech, and today I'm finally trying out Home Assistant, and we're going to be going over how to set Home Assistant up to self-host it. If you're not familiar, Home Assistant is a self-hosted app that you can run to control your IoT or smart devices. So if you have devices like smart thermostats or air sensors, thermometers, and a ton of other integrations, blinds, and so many more, you can monitor and manage them through Home Assistant, and you could self-host it. This means you can cut off any of the cloud subscriptions and stop your data from being sent out to these cloud services that manage these devices, and you can keep everything in-house and manage it through your own server. Home Assistant was something that I really pushed off for a long time because, one, I really didn't have any devices that I can manage through Home Assistant, and it just didn't intrigue me enough in the past. Recently, I got some smart hygrometers for my humidors and then one for my room just to keep a better idea of what's in my room. And I decided that this would be a really good reason to start up Home Assistant and then continue to grow and add more sensors and devices to my network. Today, we're going to be setting up Home Assistant on a Raspberry Pi. You could also set it up on proxmox, on a bare bones machine, or however you would like it. So let's get right into it. One thing I want to add before we get into it, and this was something that I learned the hard way, keep an eye on what kind of smart devices you get that are going to be in for Home Assistant. I got devices that were Bluetooth only. So what this meant was when I set up Home Assistant on my Proxmox server, I wasn't able to connect to them and pair to them because my Proxmox server can only connect over the network. So I had to get an add-on Bluetooth card, but that's what we're going to be setting up on a Raspberry Pi because Raspberry Pi has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and can connect to everything. So just be aware of the devices you're getting, whether they're going to be Bluetooth devices. Make sure you have something that can run Bluetooth to be able to connect to them from Home Assistant. If you're going to be getting Wi-Fi or network devices, make sure you can connect them on the network. If you're going to be getting Zigbee devices, you're going to need one of those Zigbee add-on antennas or cards or network cards or however you want to get it so you can connect to the device over Zigbee. Just keep that in mind when you're ordering devices and you go to set stuff up, so you're not like me and you order all the devices, you're excited to set it up, and then you realize you can't because you need more pieces. My Amazon package should come today and I should be able to connect to my rest of my devices that I want to. But that's a separate story. Let's get into setting up Home Assistant on the Raspberry Pi. Alright, so you can see I have Raspberry Pi Imager open. And what we're going to do is we're going to select the Raspberry Pi 5 because that's what I'm working with. It's recommended that you work with like a 4 or higher. I think a 3 should work, but you're probably going to get a better outcome with it's from one of the newer models. Work with a 5, I'm going to click next. I have data on mine already, so I'm just going to wipe it really quickly, and then we're going to image it over there. So let me just get this done really quick. So mine wiped off the image relatively quickly, so that's all done. So I'm going to come over here to Raspberry Pi 5 again. We're going to click next in the bottom right corner. And now we're going to actually install the Home Assistant OS for Raspberry Pi. So you can actually do it right here through Raspberry Pi Imager, which makes it really simple. So we can come over to Home Specific, and then we scroll down a little bit, you'll see there's Home Automation, so we can click on there. And then in here, we're going to have Home Assistant. So this is going to be a version for the Raspberry Pi 5. And you could just click that right there. And then we have these two options. I'm going to select the main one up top. We'll click next again in the bottom right. We're going to select the micro SD card we want to use, so just make sure you select the right one. I'm going to click next again. It's going to confirm we want to write to this disk and erase anything on there. I'm going to say yes. And now I'm going to let this run, and we'll be back in a minute. If you are interested in running Home Assistant on a different device, you can do that as well. I'm not going to be covering that right now, but it is available. If you come over to Home Assistant's site and you click on Getting Started, you'll have all the different options for different ways to get it going. So if you want to run it on Linux, you can do it over here. It gives you a couple different options. It does give you a VDI file or a KVM, a QCOW2. You can pull the QCOW2 into your Proxmox server and install it from there. You'll just need to look up a guide on how to do it. It's very simple. I've done it in the past with a couple of servers that I was running from some schoolwork. It does work really well. You can do it, so don't be frightened by seeing the QCOW2 file. They do give you a option over here of how to install it a couple different ways. It has some guides, and you could just follow along through here if you're interested, or you could just look up how to import a QCOW2 into Proxmox if that's something you're interested in. You could also run it on a regular Linux machine. You could run it on a Windows machine. They have very open options. If you are interested in running it on Proxmox, we can make it the install a little bit easier, and we can do it through the helper strips if that's something you're interested in. They have one for the Home Assistant OS to run on a virtual machine, and this will do all the work for you. It'll pull the QCOW2 file, it'll convert it and pull it in so we can actually run it as a VM, and it works really well. This is how I set it up on my Proxmox server. Another option is to run it as an LXC container. The only thing I did see that looks different is that it doesn't allow add-ons in Home Assistant because of how it's set up. So if you're going to want to add add-ons to your Home Assistant, which I'm still new to this and I don't know all the add-ons and what they do, but I do know that it sounds like it's going to be something that you're going to want, and it looked like something that I was going to want when I already started to use one, I think, for File Manager. So running as a VM is probably going to be your best option, but totally up to however you want to do it. This is just another option to make the setup in proxmox a lot simpler. Our install of the OS on my micro SD card is almost done. So when this is done, I'm going to get it into the Raspberry Pi, and then we can start working on a Home Assistant in there. So I'll be back when this is ready. Like I said, the install's all done. You could put the SD card back into your Raspberry Pi or however you're doing this, and you could turn on the system. And then it should give you on the screen telling you could access it at homeassistant.local:8123. If this doesn't work for you, it should because of how DNS works. But if it doesn't, you could get your IP address of the device you're working with, whether it's a Raspberry Pi, a VM, or whatever it might be. And then you can just put the IP in :8123. After you get the SD card into your Raspberry Pi and you power it on, after a couple of minutes, it should come online. You should be able to see it in your network table, whether you're looking at your router, your firewall, or if you do an Angry IP scanner, or if you already knew the IP of your Raspberry Pi, you should be able to web to it at the IP :8123. You could also use that domain that they were provided in the doc. You could try it, see if it works. It might not. The IP is going to be more reliable. After you get to this page, you'll see that it's finishing preparing, so it's installing the rest of the Home Assistant onto the Raspberry Pi. And you can see it can take up to 20 minutes or more. It's usually pretty fast. You can see I'm already at 77%. I've only been running for a couple minutes. I'm going to let this run, and then we'll be back. And like I said, after a few minutes, this will be all done, and we'll get a new page. We can either create a new smart home, or if you already have used Home Assistant, you can restore from a backup. I don't have a backup, so we're going to create a new one. I'm just going to put my name in. I'm going to set a password, and then we'll continue. On the next page, you could put your address in if you wanted to have a better identification of where you are. From my understanding, this does have some benefits. I don't know what they are. Like I said, I'm still pretty new to Home Assistant, but I think it helps kind of map things out and have a better understanding of your location for some of the sensors and devices you might be adding. Totally up to you if you want to do it or not. I'm going to set it however. Over here, we could say if we want to send analytics over. I don't, so I'm just going to click next. And you can see already it has scanned my network and it found devices that we could add. So these are all the available devices I currently have. I'm going to just click finish for now. I don't want to add them just yet. And now you can see over here, we're here at our dashboard. First things first, whenever we do a project, we're going to want dark mode. So we're going to come over here to your username in the bottom left. You're going to click that and we're going to click dark. And then we're all set over here. So that's the first option we're going to want to check off. If we come back over here to the overview, you can see there's really nothing yet because we don't have any devices. There's no data. There's nothing really to get going. So the first thing we're going to want to do is add a device. So we're going to come up here to the top right. We're going to click add, and I'm going to click add device. Now we can either go through all of the integrations that are already set for a device and add them from there. And you can see there are plenty of them because look how long I could scroll for and how small my scroll bar is. So there's definitely a lot of devices you could add. But they do auto discover, and you can see I already have a few that I can add. So like I did mention, what really got me to start this was I got a couple of hygrometers for my humidors because I kept running into an issue where I would have low humidity and I would forget to change out the packs and need to get that sorted. So I was hoping that by using Home Assistant with the hygrometers, I could give a better idea and get a reminder to, hey, it's time to go check the humidors. This was really what started my whole Home Assistant journey. So you can see over here, I have a couple of different hygrometers from Govee that I'm using. So we can actually just click on one of these and it will ask if I want to set it up. I'm going to click submit. We can specify where it is. So it's in a bedroom. That's fine. We can name it if we want. I don't know which one this is exactly. So I'm just going to click finish for now. And you can see over here, it's already been added. And now I have all of my data. So now over here, we can start to see some of the info. So we can see the relative humidity and the temperature of wherever this hygrometer is. However, if I come back over here, there's nothing on my home page to see it with. So we need to add a view. If we do click around though, you can remember I put it in bedroom. So if I come over here, we can actually see here's my device and there's the info. There's just quick info on it. So one thing we can do on this overview page to have a better visual of my device right on the home page is we can come up here to the pencil in the top right. And over here, we can select entities. So now you can see over here, I have my device. I could add another one. I could scroll down again. There's my device again. And there should be one more for the temperature. And there it is again. and we can come over here and we can click save, and now you can see over here I have it in my top of my overview page. So now if we want to adjust devices, add more, look at some of the other settings in Home Assistant, we could do that over here in settings. And if we come over here to devices and services, you can see over here we get a totally different page. So there's a couple tabs up here in the top. We have integrations, devices, entities, and helpers. Integrations are going to be the actual device that we're going to be adding, whether it's my Govee device, it is my Asus router, or anything else that's available. So you see, like, actually over here, I have another one right here that I could add for my Raspberry Pi. When we come over to the devices tab, this is devices that we already have or we have already added. Entities are a little bit different. These are the actual sensors, I guess we can call them, from the devices we're adding. So we can see over here, after I add the one hygrometer, I have my battery, humidity, and temperature coming from that device. Helpers are a little bit different. You can see over here, if I go to add one, it's just some generic info. It looks like we could add like some options or something like that. Like I said, I am not an expert on Home Assistant just yet, so I don't know everything about it. But if we come back over here to integrations, we could work to add more integrations. You can see, like, over here, I could add a power supply checker. I can click OK over here, and it looks like now we'll have an integration for our Raspberry Pi. And you can see over here, there we do. So now it's going to check to make sure it has power, and it's going to map it out and give me info on it. So like I said, I don't have a ton of Home Assistant capable devices just yet, but I'm working on going to be getting some more. So I can add on to this and I can cover a little bit more information on this as well. Right now I really just have these Bluetooth devices. I actually do have an additional one. So I have a Casa smart plug that I'm using on my 3D printer. And I did learn that it doesn't exactly add nicely. So like if I search Casa over here, it adds some code to the YAML file for the configuration in Home Assistant. So it takes a little bit of an extra step. However, I found that if I search it over here, I was able to hit a link and add it directly through here. So like over here, I had this link and I could add it through my Home Assistant. And I really don't know if this is the best way to do it, but it worked the other night when I was setting it up, and I can add my TP-Link Smart Home, which is my Casa device. So if I had the IP of it again, I could put that in here and then be able to add it. But this is roughly the idea of how we can get started with Home Assistant and start adding devices and build out dashboards and have devices visible. And you can sit here and you can manage everything in your house through this one central pane. So instead of being forced to add all your smart plugs to 4 different apps because you have 4 different smart plugs, you could do everything through here and manage them much nicer. Like I said, one thing to keep in mind when you're looking for smart home devices that you plan to use on Home Assistant is make sure they're going to be compatible with Home Assistant. They do have all the integrations listed on their site, and there are way more that are available, but just double check that before you go and you buy a whole bunch of devices to find out that they're not capable to be used with Home Assistant. You can see over here on their website, they do have an integrations tab, and you could search through all different devices and find all different ones in here to make sure they are capable before you go out and buy some devices to find out that they're not. I do recommend just double checking to make sure that you're getting something you're going to be able to use, so you don't get bummed out when you get something that you can't use. But this is a brief how to set up Home Assistant and get some devices added. I'm hoping to get some more Home Assistant capable devices so I could add in here and have some better data and some better stuff to show off all around. I am looking forward to using Home Assistant more. Like I said, in the past, it just never interested me enough, but now I finally have that curiosity to check it out, and I have some devices to work with in here. So I think it'll be a really fun project. As always, I want to thank you all for watching. I'll have links to all the gear in my home lab down below if you ever want to check any of it out. And I'll have a link to the Discord server as well if you want to join up in there. Again, I want to thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And as my buddy Don would say, hack till it hurts.